Hello, kids! Welcome to our first orientation in Grade 3 Art. Let's start our day with a prayer.
Dear Lord, please show me how to spend this day sharing your love in every way. Help me to be kind to everyone, to play and laugh and have lots of fun. Shining your light and giving your grace, sharing your joy with a smile on my face. Amen.
Today is our first day. Let's get to know each other. My name is Teacher Shay, and I will be your art teacher for this school year. It's your turn. Tell us your name and answer this question. If you could have any superpower, which one would you choose? Let's talk about last year. What do you still remember? What can you not forget about your lessons last year? You can write your answers in the chat box, kids. For our objectives, we're going to know the activities for the first quarter, grading system, how to submit the artwork, and the virtual class rules. Let's watch this video with its guided questions.
Art. When we hear that word, some of our minds jump to museums or framed paintings, and in that context, some people think, nah, I'm not a big fan of art, I just don't get it. Or they think of art as something that's just for intellectuals or artsy people. But really, art is for anyone who wants to experience it, and it's often in more places than we might realize. Songs you like, movies you watch, poems, theater, even a quilt that your grandmother made. All of that and more is art. So you might be wondering, well, then what is art? How do I define it? Well, that's tough. Art's been around for thousands of years, and through the ages it's evolved in a number of different ways. And the reasons for creating it vary from person to person depending on any number of factors. So defining art is pretty tricky, and it's something that's been debated throughout history. There just isn't one agreed upon definition. However, many believe that art is anything that stirs emotion in you. Now, the emotions that get stirred up depend entirely on your own history, your story, everything that comes together to make up who you are. And because of this, 3 different people can experience the same piece of art and have wildly different reactions to it. One person might think it's the most beautiful thing they've ever seen, the second person might hate it, and the third might not feel much of anything at all. And none of them would be wrong. Everyone's entitled to their own preferences and feelings when it comes to art. You know, the way you feel about your favorite song could be the same way that someone else feels about their favorite sculpture. And even though you might not like that sculpture, it can be valuable to consider why that person enjoys it so much. You may learn something about them and maybe even yourself. The term art is really just a label. Over the years, a lot of people have tried to classify what it is or what it isn't, but that's not really what art is about. It's about your personal experience with it and the meaning that you draw from it. Everyone reacts to art differently and has the potential to grow and learn from it. It gives us the opportunity to tell stories, record history, and tap into our emotions in a way that few other things can.
Goodwill Community Foundation, creating opportunities for a better life.
After watching the video, what is art for you? Why is it important? And what are the ways to show art? These are our first quarter learning topics. At the end of the quarter, you are expected to learn the following: the different parts of picture planes, emphases, and proper shading and color contrast. For your first quarter activity, we are going to have poster making design. We are going to use 2 learning approaches as our online learning modes, synchronous and asynchronous. During our synchronous mode, we are going to learn same time, real time. While in asynchronous mode, you are allowed to work at your own pace. How to grade you? We have 80% for our performance test and 20% for our summative assessment. Reminder: individual performance test and summative assessment must be submitted on time. Every end of the quarter, I will collect the best works for our virtual exhibit like these. Now let's talk about our rules and reminders for our online classes. Be on time. Set up early so that you're good and ready when class starts. Be prepared for class. Have everything you need within your reach, just like your art materials. Be respectful. Respect your teachers and classmates. Always raise your hand when you want to speak. Keep your microphone on mute. If you want to say something, kindly raise your hand and wait for the teacher to acknowledge you before unmuting. Be responsible in the chat box. Use the chat box for class-related matters only. Be fully present. Kindly turn on your video on the whole time. Remove distractions. Treat online class time as real class time. You can find a quiet place for class. Thank you for listening, kids. If you have questions or concerns, you can stay in touch with me through this email address. Remember, from small beginnings come great things.